Very good afternoon to you. Welcome to Doha on the penultimate day of the 2005 IWF Centennial World Weightlifting Championships. Today it's the 105 kilo men's championship. Tomorrow the finale, the super heavyweights. And 10 finalists lining up today to try and take this title that was won in 2003 by Saeed Asaf Saif, who, as you can see, fourth from the top of the lineup there, is here and ready to take his chance to defend the title. The world records. Marcin Doleja, well, he's not here, but his brother Robert is in the field, and as you can see, nobody since these weights were established in 1998 has yet achieved a clean and jerk of 242, or indeed the total of 440. They are the standard. So here we go. Opening snatch here by Germany's Andre Rode. And just to mention the B group earlier today, Yusa Hussein Ammar of Iraq, the best of the lot with a total of 384. And he achieved that with a snatch of 178 and a clean and jerk of 206. So, Andre, familiar face to those of us who've been involved in this sport for a while. He's 30 years of age now, Andre. 7th in Europe this year. And well capable of 180. Like to see him go a little bit further than that today. That's good. Yeah, Frank Mantek, the man looking after the German squad as ever. 176. Probably quite a sensible opener there for Andre. Confidence building lift. And there you can see the competition hall. Lots of flags, but not so many people. It's, in one sense, David, lacked that sort of atmosphere. The people of Doha haven't exactly flocked in to see these championships, which is a pity, because over the past 8-9 days there's been some really good lifting, particularly in the women's division. So it may well be that nobody else wants 176 kilos, which gives me an opportunity, David, to an email from Ben up in Glasgow, dropping us a line at question@weightlifting.de. David, what was Ben's asking your weight classification, and what were your best ever lifts?
Best ever lifts. Well, I used to lift in the the old 75 kilo class and 82.5 kilo class, and as a 75 kilo lifter, my best lifts were 155 and 192.5. And lifting as a light 82.5, because the category used to be 82.5, it's now 85. My best snatch was 170, and my best clean and jerk was 207.5, although I was always sort of lifting underweight, as it were. I was always kind of between the two categories, so the new 77 class would have been absolutely perfect for me.
There you go, Ben. I hope that answers your question. And straight on to the man from Egypt, 25-year-old Ibrahim Morsi, opening attempt here. Bismillah. Quick look at the clock, plenty enough time. Still 20-odd seconds. Down to 10. Coming to 5. Needs to go.
But when he did go, there was plenty of power there.
Just at 178 kilos, just a little bit of heart palpitation for his coach, I think.
It's interesting what you're saying about the hall being empty. I think they've obviously spent some time with the organisation, but one of the areas that they fall down on is the sort of PRing and the marketing.
Well, the presentation
event.
I mean, the whole thing is, I always think that weightlifting is, or could be, very much theatre in the round. And what you need to do is to bring the lifter close to the people and the people close to the lifter. You need to have this sort of theatrical setting. And I'm less a fan of all the VIP chairs and more a fan of, engaging the interaction between, the fans, the spectators and the lifter.
Yes, you'd be more interested in a sort of Colosseum type
Absolutely.
setup.
That's what we try to do in Europe. Robin Doleja, good start for the pole. And we'll be trying to do that in Chetniewo in Poland come springtime next year. 9. And these are intelligent starting lifts, particularly for Doleja, who's had a bit of a problem in the last 2 major championships, the last World Championships in Vancouver and also at the Olympics, failed to get a total. So very important to get a decent start. Alan Naniev, 6th in the Olympics. This man from Azerbaijan, capable of 190.
First attempt at 180 kilograms.
And just a pause at the moment.
Is the defending world champion as he won in 2003 in Vancouver.
So the defending world champion coming in at 180. And this is quite interesting, David. I was wondering what he was going to open up on, simply because when he won the world title, he snatched 195 kilos. And though he didn't get a total in the Olympics, he snatched 192 and a half.
He had to work for that.
He's, of course, one of that group of Bulgarians who were transferred for that $1 million fee after, or should I say before, the Sydney Olympics.
And it's strange, isn't it, that he too is down on his lifts. I know he's lifting for Qatar, but he is actually Bulgarian.
Bulgarian by birth. And but the reason I'm interested about the 180 there, which he's got, of course, is that that's what he finished on in the Asian Championships, not so long ago in Dubai. See him starting on 180. I think he's going to find it tough to defend this title. Now, Andre. Yes, come on, that's it. Right, so he's made the lift he was absolutely sure he could do. He's now made the lift that he really ought to do. The next one is into new territory.
Yes, did well to hold on to that.
They really steadied in that bottom position, but the drive up when ready was good. Just looking at Frank Mantek there.
He looks like he's trimmed down and sort of got himself fit.
Absolutely. I think he's had a few days on the beach as well.
Yes, he wasn't in the best of health the last time I saw him. I think too much good food and too much drink. Perhaps he's seen the error of his ways.
So 182 kilos going on the bar here for Moussi of Egypt. This is the man who used almost every second of his minute. So goes through the preparation, which includes, in a sense, I guess, Every weightlifter, something of a ritual. It's different for every man. Oh, there's the 30-second buzzer.
Bismillah.
Check the clock.
Checks it again. Now, is he going to follow the same pattern? The chances are he will. Have another look around about 10 to 8 seconds. There it is, 8 seconds, right on the mark. Lifted about 4. Yes.
Well,
I don't think it's the best use of the time.
I can't say he rushed it.
No,
because you focus your attention and then you lose it again by looking at the clock.
Yeah. I think
he's strong enough to do it.
Oh yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. But I absolutely agree with you. Those two diversions, when you hear the second buzzer, and really once you've got that, you shouldn't be looking away to your right, because whatever you say, you're absolutely right. It does distract you. So 182, he's going to have to. Well, he could come back for more, but we just have to wait and see. Poland with Robert Doleja. The Russians have got Dmitry Lapikov and also Dmitry Klokov. Moldavia, Alexander Bratten. Martin Tesevich, something of an old warhorse at this class, but all too often injured in recent times and not able to give of his best. So 182 kilos for the Pole, 3 kilo increase. And of course, the important part here is not to confuse him with his brother Marcin, who's actually the world record holder in the snatch. And Robert's now 10 kilos. Sorry, what am I talking about? 16 kilos off that mark. But a good lift nonetheless. Well, this man, he's a bit of a conundrum, really, isn't he? Because he's very keen to get on the stage, to get on with it, but once he gets on the stage, he's not very keen to lift the bar. He needs to do this. Well, he's going to be left on 178.
There's one check.
Yeah.
Oh, just one that time. That's better.
So 182 is made. And no one from the B group surpassed 180. In fact, 178 the best, so it looks as if there'll be no infiltrators today from the B group into the A group fight for medals. So, Martin Tesevich, 6th in Europe this year, but a former world champion back in 1997 in Chiang Mai when he lifted in the 99 kilo class and totaled 400 kilos. That's arguably his greatest achievement to date. No total in the Olympics.
No, he just doesn't look focused. It was all over the place, really.
Representing Slovakia.
So I think he'd be wise to take that again.
thing with Tesovic is it's difficult. He's 31 years of age now, and in a sense, in the twilight years. Andre Rode. Now, what's he going to go for, Rode?
183 at least. Well, I would say, no, I would say, yeah, I was going to say, if he is going for 183, Tesovic will have to come out again because it's Tesovic's second attempt and it's Andre's third. But should Tesovic fail again, then, well, should he succeed or fail, Roda, if he's taking this weight, will be out.
It's interesting. The 180 mark is where Tesovic has been, whether he was lifting in 99 kilos or a year later in Lahti at the Worlds, like when he was a 105 kilo lifter. He was again 180-ish is where he's always been.
So this seems like a pretty high starter.
Yeah, unless he's in exceptional form, then 180. Now that was good.
Yeah. Very good. So corrected the mistake and able to have one more go at moving forward.
Clean and jerk. The best for Martin, really, 227.5. But, you know, we are talking about the best part of 6-7 years ago for that sort of mark, but maybe he's over his worst problems and on his way back. We'll have to wait and see. Now, 183 for Andre Rode, weighed in at 104.04. So not the lightest, but bottom end of the scale. But that's pretty irrelevant at this particular moment in time. It's lifts like that. When you make them, then the trip seems so much more worthwhile. So he's left on 180. And now Robert Doleja, bar going up to 184. I was looking back at his performance. The best I've actually seen from him is about 187, and that was in Warsaw. All of 3 years ago in the World Championships.
Oof. Didn't look particularly comfortable on that elbow.
So 182 is where he gets left. And this competition yet to come afire. Remember, the defending world champion, Saeed Asaf, representing the host nation Qatar. What we reckon, David, a pretty modest start on 180, or maybe that was just to, you know, get one on the board, make sure that nothing.
Thought that that he'd have, you know, been in really good form competing at home. 175 on the bar here. Easy.
Yeah, Lithuanian looks strong, doesn't he? Ramūnas Vyšniauskas. And he could well play a part in this. Now Lapikov for Russia. They're double-handed, the Russians. 104.08 kilos, his body weight, when he weighed in just a couple of hours ago. Just missed the overall bronze in the European Championships this year in Sofia.
So I'm sure he'll be doing that again.
Yeah, nobody's, we haven't seen anybody come in yet and get a grip on this competition. There's still a good number. Vyšniauskas, you've just seen from Lithuania, still warming up. Alexander Bratan from Moldavia. Also and Naniev of Russia and Azerbaijan, respectively, to start. But the 183 from Tesovic, I think, is about to be surpassed, because I think this man is the man we need to keep a close eye on. There's something, you know, he's
a bit of a character. He always something about him reminds me of the pub landlord, you know, the comedian. Expecting to come on, you know, with a pint and start talking.
So Lithuania 185, this for the lead, weighed in at 102.90, so the lightest man of the class. Not careful enough. Well, there's a lot more red than green and white about the scoreboard at the moment.
Well, it was always going to be a tight competition. A lot of depth in this class.
Yeah, there's only a 20-kilo spread, which is nothing at this sort of weight category. But it does mean there was a big open door. World silver medalist Shmorchkov not here. Sudas of Turkey. Bunyamin also absent. No news, actually. Nothing that we can put our hands on officially after the meetings that have been going on here. So, Moldavia, Alexander Bratan, first attempt, steadies in the bottom position. Weighed in at 104.96, so almost right up to the 105-kilo limit. Bratan, who missed a medal in the Olympics, totaled up 415 kilos, but lost out on body weight to Gleb Pizarevsky of Russia. And here comes the defending champion on 185.
Yes, usually when you've got a defending champion from the host nation, you usually get a big crowd in.
Yeah,
especially if he's the existing world champion. That was better.
Yeah,
it's better than his first.
Yeah, it's the middle of. And a lot of the official businesses in Doha, like banks and government offices, tend to work early till about sort of 2 o'clock, and whereas private businesses obviously have a break and then come back in later on in the evening. But yeah, disappointing that, you know, they haven't. You know, look at that crowd is predominantly people who are actually involved with the championships. And I have to say that is a problem for weightlifting generally. You know, they're not really developing a product to attract a wider audience. They're not putting on the show, which we were talking about a few minutes ago. You've got some fantastic athletes, and you know, the drama that we've seen.
You've got fantastic athletes with great physiques. They don't show the physiques off enough either. They need, you know, they need to build them up a bit more before the competition, turn them into.
Well, people don't know who
characters.
They are. Now this is Lapikov. So the champion on 185, Bratan on 185, and Lapikov.
Lapikov succeeds on his second with 185.
Again, he's down the bottom end, 104.08, so goes ahead of the defending champion, ahead of Bratan, so he's got the advantage at the moment. Early days.
That snatch there, he caught it on his belt on the way out, so he needs to tighten his belt or take it off next time.
Now this is a pretty crucial lift. Needs to make this, because to give himself one more attempt to try and go with the big boys.
Well, we saw him in the warm-up with 175, looked very comfortable.
So, Ramūnas Vyšniauskas of Lithuania, 29 years of age, 185 for the second time. And I'm afraid the European bronze medalist of this season, the man who was 5th in the Olympic Games, who totaled 410 coming out of the B group, is in real trouble. And I'm surprised about that. I thought this man would be a player today. I'm beginning to wonder now.
He missed 185 twice already. He needs to be successful if he wants to qualify in this match. Dmitry Klokov will be the next.
It's a sort of interesting sense you get about the Lithuanian, David, that he in a sense, almost wants it too much. I know that's on the face of it, a pretty silly thing to say, but you know, when you have sometimes someone tries too hard, they actually forget the technique.
Just relaxing.
Yeah,
and
exactly. You get a sort of tightness of the wrong sort. So it looks as if he's going to follow himself, which gives me an opportunity to bring in a little email that I've had from an American soldier down in southern Germany, Corporal Bolling Derek. Well, glad you're enjoying the championships. Your point was that you've been struggling to find somewhere down in southern Germany, where you're based, to do weightlifting and to work with some weightlifters. Well, I'll tell you what we've done. We've passed all your details on to Germany's Olympic silver medalist and world and European champion, Mark Huster, and we've given him your email details, and he's going to try and respond to you directly to try and guide you. He's commentating with former great heavyweight Manfred Nährlinger, and Manfred's from that part of Germany, so it might take a day or so, but somebody will be talking to you on your email. And thank you for watching. Oh, no.
so out of the total medals, of course, he can still compete in the clean and jerk if he wants to. And I'm sure he will want to, because there's as you know, there are medals at stake in both the snatch, the jerk, and the overall. But that's a shame, because, as you say, David, I thought he was going to be a player in the end because of his strong clean and jerk. But weightlifting is about selecting the correct weights, building a total.
Yeah, but to be fair to him, that sort of weight, you know, 185, you know, he's been there lots of times before. I've no doubt that, you know, that's a weight which he will lift time after time. Now, Klokov, this is the second of the Russians. 3 years older than teammate Lapikov. Looking for a total of 420 today, so he's one of the more ambitious men in this class. Very low, but nonetheless didn't put his bottom on the ground, so the lift is good. Had a good start at 186.
187 kilos on the bar.
Dmitry Klokov, coming out of the junior ranks. Former junior European champion, junior world silver medalist. So that was a good step forward. Said he was 3 years older than his teammate. He isn't. In fact, he's only 21. So my apologies for that misinformation. Naniev, opening lift, 187. Representing Azerbaijan.
These men really coming in at very, very high weights.
87
seemed to be coming in right on their limits, putting himself under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, he used to be a very light super heavyweight lifter until after the World Championships in Vancouver. You know, since Athens he's really come down. I mean, he did 190 in Athens, but you know, as you say, there seems to be some misjudgment here about the opening kilos by quite a lot of these men. Having said that, David, if you look down at Andre Rode for Germany with 180, I mean, he's still only at the moment 6 kilos off the pace. So it is still a very tight class because nobody has actually got a grip of it and started to go away. But there's still opportunities. You've got Bratin, you've got the defending champion actually, who's got 5, must be feeling actually a lot more encouraged. And you know, when he opened up on the 180, I think both of us, what we did, we looked at each other and thought, you know, how's this man going to defend the title? Well, it's looking that his chances are a lot better than we thought.
Well, he's doing it by getting his attempts in and building a total.
So Naniev following himself, he has all of 2 minutes, but he's not going to use not nearly any, well, the majority of that. He's coming straight on now. This is a question of technique rather than strength. Needs to stay calm, needs to execute this in a explosive yet fluent way, and he needs to be precise. Sounds easy, it isn't. Wow.
Did well to hold that.
He really did do well. It does show you, David, that the man has strength to be able to stay in that low position for quite as long as he did when the bar was wavering forward and back. And he's got himself on the board with 187 at the second attempt, which means he is, at this particular moment, the class leader. Weighed in at 104.66. So incidentally, he's lighter than Bratin, who has 185. He's heavier than Asif, Assad, the defending champion. So Tesovic
still very much in this competition. Well, he's going to be pleased with that.
Very pleased. 187, David. I mean, that's a superb number of kilos for him to get. It really does give him a platform that we haven't seen for an awful long time. 187, he weighed in Tesovic at 104.33. Now Naniev, who's got 104.66, it means
so
that they put
him into the lead.
Yeah, although the graphic said he'd gone second, but once again,
we've learned to ignore the graphics over the last 8 days.
Yeah, it just keeps me running back to the protocol, the weigh-in list which we've got, and I can confirm Tesovic at 104.33, Naniev at 104.66. At this moment, Martin Tesovic of Slovakia leads. That's Robert Deleja already thinking about the second half clean and jerk, and here comes the defending champion, 188. Now this is 8 kilos up on his performance in the Asian Championships this year. At his very best, when he won the world title in Canada, which of course qualified him to take part in the Olympic Games, 195, only 3 kilos short of the world record. First error. So the defending champion is not going to win the gold medal on the snatch. But having said that, David, he's still going to be very much in this championship because lifts are running out. And unless somebody puts 190, 195, and on the evidence of what we've seen, nobody's going to do that. I think 190 is probably about as far as we can imagine this competition going. Or
well, I think
189 now for Bratan.
Yes, but and also the Moldavian looked good on his first attempt.
Well, he did. Now, technically, he was very poor at the first attempt.
No, this is Naniev.
Oh, so this is Naniev,
yeah,
isn't
I'm
it?
talking
Yeah.
about Bratan.
Oh, you're talking about Bratan.
Bratan has done 185 a while back, and we haven't seen him for a while. He actually looked very, very strong on that lift. So he's probably going to come in at 190, and I think he could do it.
So he might be the man who could get to 195. He is the heavy man, but on a day like this, kilos on the board mean a lot more. Also got Dmitry Klokov of Russia, the man who's just exiting junior ranks. 186 he opened up on.
Yeah, still, and also Lapikov as well. Still has an attempt left.
Gives you a bit of an impression of the hall here, not one of the world's architectural works. So Bratan on 190. So I take it from what you just said, David, that this is the man who so far has impressed you the most.
He's looked the strongest and the most comfortable. He's got rather an unusual arm lock. His right arm locks out, his left arm doesn't. He's obviously had some kind of accident or injury at some point. Oh. Well, that's a surprise. I thought he'd do that.
Lifts are running out, but doors are opening for the Russians. Yeah, that was well short of where it needed to be. So Klokov, 190.
Yes, he wasn't that solid for me on his first lift. But let's see, but with a bit of pressure off, you never know. Yeah.
Well, that's a new mark and a very important one. A couple of years ago, around about this time in 2003, this is a man who was a junior European lifter in Spain, was snatching 170. So 2 years on, he's now added another 20 kilos, which is not a surprise. But we have an intriguing situation between the two Russians. So, Klokov, who weighed in at 104.67. This is Lapikov, who's lighter, but not stronger. So he's left on 185. So the Moldavian now, who tried 190, didn't get it. We've also got So Moldova. So if he does get this, because of his heavy body weight, we'll still only put him into second place, but it's the kilos at this stage which count. 5 kilos clear of the defending champion, always useful. And this time does enough.
So it means that Russia have gold and still 1 lift remaining. So Klokov leading. The man we've just seen from Moldavia in silver medal position.
It's not Naniev of Azerbaijan got 1 more as well.
No, he's finished on 187.
So 192.
So Tesovic managed to medal. And everybody's very, very close. I mean, this is it's a very difficult competition to call.
This would put this man 7 kilos clear of the defending champion. Only 21. Technically very good. He's also strong enough, and he's also very much on fire. So 192 kilos. So Dmitry Klokov.
So clear lead.
His positioning with the bar, David, on all the attempts has been extremely good. He, more than anybody else in this class, has mastered the technique, and 192 represents a great new mark.
He's been coached there on the left by David Riggott. Lost count of how many world records he broke during his career.
So there you have it. Klokov ahead of Bratan by 2 kilos. Then the man from Azerbaijan on 187.
Graphics.
And Tesovic
actually
is
got bronze by virtue of lighter body weight.
Yeah, Tesovic, just to confirm that, 104.33, and Naniev, I'm afraid, 104.66. Clean and jerk is just 10 minutes away. In a couple of minutes now. And this is really open, of course. The defending champion, Assad, he's on 185, which means he's 7 kilos down. So let's having a look at it. It's quite interesting here because Klokov at the European Championships actually clean and jerk. This was a couple of years ago. Actually clean and jerk 225. And if he's in that sort of form, and he well could be, then this could be quite difficult for the defending champion to get up there.
Klokov clean and jerk 225 2 years ago.
Yep, when he was 4th in Kiev. It was a big, big step forward from, you know, his real junior days in 2003. Snatched 185.
So 210 kilos for the Egyptian. Remember, he snatched 182 kilos, so this would put him on 392. Likes to take his time. Looks at the clock. Wonder if he'll look again. Yes, just a crafty
Can't
one.
resist, can't resist. I think his coaches could help him with that, you know. So secures himself a total. 210 for Ibrahim Morsi. $392 he's on at the moment. And he'd entered 400, so he's got a chance of getting there.
Yeah, pretty realistic.
And if you are joining us, David Goldstrom together with David Morgan. Just to emphasize that in the B group competition earlier in the day, 384 the best from Yusa Hussein Ammar of Iraq, who clean and jerk 206. So we're already past that as Andre Rode for Germany comes on. First opening lift.
210. So this will put him on 390 and put him ahead of everybody in the B group.
But he's still 2 kilos behind the Egyptian who just preceded him. Like to see him get up to well, I'd like to see him get up to 220, David. Again, that would be you know, a new competitive mark for him. Had a go at improving his snatch PB earlier on, but it didn't come off. So defending champion again, David, coming out for a conservative opener.
Well, this is very unusual. He's been up around the 230s.
But he was 227.5 when he won the world title. And we know he's clearly not the lifter he was in Vancouver.
I think this whole thing about the sort of Bulgarian, ex-Bulgarian lifters being down on their weights it's very strange.
So 215, in fact. 215, 220, 225. I suppose you could say that if he goes that way,
well, maybe his attempts. First one, get a total. Second one, get some kind of placing. Third one, go for it.
Well, I think the game plan just went straight out the window. Now, was that lack of focus, lack of concentration, lack of belief? Can't believe it was lack of strength.
He must be injured, and something must have happened. He's either injured or he's not training properly.
What was his opening total down as, David?
He was down at 215, coming at exactly, and he came in at exactly that.
What I was also thinking about at that opening weight, David, was because he will have obviously seen with his coaches that nobody's run away with it, that being conservative today might pay off, because, you know, if you can win it or nick it, going to push yourself to the absolute limit, well, so much the better. It's not a day for records. Nobody's going to get to the standard. Well, I'd be very surprised to see anybody cleaning and jerking 242 kilos.
Not going to happen today. There's 2 looks at the clock. Is he going to sneak one more in where he just...
Oh, the eyes on...
Just the eyes.
The eyes, yeah. The eyes have it. Well, he's a strong boy. I just think that, you know, the whole thing's a bit sort of rough. Do you know what I mean? I think
he's not the best technician in the world.
No, I think the coaches have actually got some really good talent to work with here, but they need to. It's not harmonised. Well, this is a big moment, because if he fails this, David, the title is gone. whatever. No, this is.
He's got to be injured.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that we don't know about. Because I was surprised he was coming in this low. I thought he was just doing it just to.
No, I think
that's total on the board, and
I think you just saw there was. I don't think we're going to see him again, and I can't see any point, to be honest, either. The total will be a token. 215. What's that going to give him? 300?
400.
400. Sorry. Good enough for a medal?
Probably not. In fact, very unlikely in this field.
There's the man of the moment, Klokov of Russia. Just beginning his warm-up. Here's Andrei Rode already with 210, safely achieved. The other of the Russians, Lapikov.
Yes, being coached and being helped by the physio, actually. Brody there, Domiano.
So it's all so tight.
So 190, no, sorry, 180.
Clock off.
A nice easy warm-up for him.
Well, there's quite a bit of... and the reason we've been waiting is confirmation that Saeed Asad Saif has retired. And it means that we can now definitely say that we will have a new world champion. Bad luck.
Yeah, it's a shame that it was in his home country, because he was adopted country. Yeah, because he's definitely capable.
Mind you, there's another opportunity for the Qatar fans tomorrow, when they've got Jabba, who arguably is one of their best chances, up against Hossein Rezazadeh.
Oh, no. Hate it when that happens. Done all the work.
Interestingly, tomorrow in the super heavyweights, which, by the way, started at exactly the same time, the last championship category for 2005, Jabba of Qatar entered a total of 450. Skerbatis of Latvia, 450. Wily old competitor is Skerbatis. And, of course, the double Olympic champion, Rezazadeh from Iran. So three men with, three men who've entered a total of 450. So that should be a fun finale, remembering that Rezazadeh's world championship best is 472. Well, the reason that we have all these delays at the moment is that there's a lot of decision-making going on, and this 1 kilo rule, it does have this effect. You go up by one, then the next man goes up by one. Bratan of Moldavia, 190, silver medal position at the end. So it's Lapikov to go again. And basically, David needs to finish it off.
Well, he did all the work and then just didn't stand still with his feet in line and wait for the signal. Relaxed before it was over. Now, don't relax. Good man.
But the problem is, David, 217, he probably would have been at least 220 time. Now he's got a decision to make.
Well, it'll be a costly, definitely be a costly failure, because this is it's just so close. Everything is close. You can't afford to give away your attempts.
I think he's got to go for 222. He's got to go for another 5 kilos next time round.
But he snatched 185, so I think he'll just sit and watch and see what's necessary. It's not likely he's going to win.
Robert Deleja. Now, he's likely to enjoy this a hell of a lot more than he enjoys the snatch phase. It's really funny about the two brothers. His brother's much more effective in the snatch. This man's much better at the clean and jerk.
Yep, good lift. So 218 for Deleja.
Unfortunately, only carrying 182 kilos forward, like Andre here, only carrying 180 kilos forward, so they have a big disadvantage. However good they are in this second phase, they're just too far off the pace. I'm very confident he's going to get this.
Yeah?
Very confident.
I'd say it was a press out, but he might get away with it because he was able to hold the hands. I think he kind of knew, but he went for. He's so strong. He actually held that on bent arms for a while. But he was spotted. So I think he's probably going to take that again, or maybe he'll.
Well, he's given 3 whites.
No, it's no lift.
No, Andre was given 3 whites. There's no overrule.
No, well, I heard the announcer say no lift.
Well, let's wait and see. Because the graphic certainly confirmed it as a good lift.
Oh, all right. Well, that's it then.
Overall, you see, what I would have thought was they would have stopped this man lifting.
Well, no, it would just be no lift. This man's on his 3rd attempt.
Yeah.
Brody's on his 3rd attempt, so this man would come out first. Now, come on. Let's check the clock out. Good. Oh, yeah, one more.
Well, I'm glad he can smile. But he is a strong boy. There's no question about it.
So, 219. And that's 5 out of 6.
Yeah, so 401. 401, and
so the only failure was that second snatch on 182. So pretty good day's lifting for him.
Yeah, he lifted it actually here earlier in the season in June, total up 391. So that's pretty good. 6 kilos up, and president of the International Olympic Committee, next to Dr. Thomas Ayan. Dr. Jacques Rogge here for the men's super heavyweight class. And if you'd like to pass by us, we'll certainly have a chocolate.
Or two.
It's, of course, the centenary year of the International Weightlifting Federation. Now, Bratin to open up on 220.
Yes, we'll put him on 410 and give him the lead for now, because remember, he had that silver medal in the snatch with 190.
What's Clock-Off posted at his opening weight?
222.
So it's very tight.
That's good.
So, Dr. Rogge enjoying that.
So there should be quite a few athletes at this weight, if the start list is anything to go by.
And it could well be that whoever wins this will have the honour of being presented with their gold medal by, in fact, the president of the International Olympic Committee. It's the sort of honour that's usually afforded on such occasions. Now, Martin Tesovic. Now, very important. He's not out of this, you know. If he could get this first one in. Okay, he's 5 kilos behind Clock-Off, but that is possible. Looking a bit heavy, though, on the shoulders.
They look to be a bit
windpipe.
Yeah, a bit dizzy.
Yeah.
And I've seen him do this on several occasions with big cleans. So I didn't really want to give that away, but
no. Costly failure. So, Bratin Donleja with 104.46, Andre Rode 104.04. So actually Rode should be ahead of Donleja because he's lighter in body weight, but I think ad nauseam we've gone through these points. It's just very frustrating that they get the order consistently so wrong.
Having the wrong graphic. I can't believe that no one has told them.
It's a bit like being down at the Odeon and the Gaumont, isn't it, with the food coming around at the halfway. Ah, those were the days. Little popcorn and in the cinema. Yes. Mind you, the atmosphere of a multiplex, even that might actually help. It was a little more intimate and dramatic with the lighting and everything. Now Naniev for Azerbaijan, first attempt. Now he ended up on 187, didn't
187.
he?
I'm sure he's gone to 221. Well, I think he'll be lucky to get that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. There's a definite press out there on that right arm.
He's coming in extremely heavy, and I think he's got a
good lift.
Well, I can't see that that's a good lift.
Come on, that has to be silly.
I think it's going to be reversed.
I mean, really?
Yeah, bad refereeing. Which is why, again, I say it every time, they've just got to get rid of the press-out rule.
Just have a look at this. Have a look at this right arm.
They just can't. It's not as obvious there.
No,
you need to see it from the run, but they can't referee it. I think we're going to have to write
his feet are in line there.
I think we're going to have to write, and it went off the platform. We're going to have to write a little.
I mean, the bar is supposed to stay on the platform.
Well, actually,
it can roll off. Yeah. He's got to stay on the
platform, but certainly that was for my money, that was a no lift. So I think we need to write a little memo about the press out ruling. It doesn't seem to be possible to be consistent on it. That's good. So 2:21 for Dolega.
Still, of course, clock off. And no news at the moment about Wisniauskas. What did he post to?
Well, he's got 2:25 down, and I think he'll probably come in at 2:25 as well, because
I think he's got to.
There's a medal at stake. Why not go for it?
But Tesovic goes to 2:21, failed at 2:20, but just puts an extra kilo on.
Yes, I think that was more for a
extra time.
So he didn't have to follow himself than anything else.
Better clean. Not quite so close to the windpipe either. And secures his total. So that's 398 that he's on at the moment.
221 kilos still on the bar. And this is for the
but a costly first failure, because now all he can do, well, he could just sit back again and just watch and wait and then decide to take one lift that would either give him a clean and jerk medal or maybe overall bronze. But remember, of course, he has got the bronze from the snatch phase, so he has got something of a consolation. Now, this is interesting for Andre Rode. He is being pushed, and he is pushing himself here. Naniev with that 2:21, which neither of us believe. But in fact, it's Dmitry Klokov, the half-time leader, 2:22.
Just coming in exactly where he said he would.
And if he lifts this, he really does establish himself as the man to catch.
Yeah, so this would put him on 4:14.
A strong split, and
we had to work at it.
Yeah, but it was good. It wasn't in doubt. It was well executed. So 4:12.
4:14.
4:14. Yeah, sorry. Forgot about the 2 from the snatch phase. The advantage. 4:14. It's going to be difficult to catch now. So 2:22 for Andre Rode. Now, by my reckoning, David, this is a new PB.
Yes, I think he's cleaned more, but I don't think he's actually managed the full clean and jerk. So well, he's light. He's 104.04, so this would put him into the lead on the clean and jerk.
Yeah.
And put him on 4:02.
Indeed it would. But we think he was quite lucky, don't we, in the second phase with the arms last time. is he going to be as fortunate this time? No.
I still think still think it was a no lift, but time will tell.
So he's left on 398. 398. Well, what can I tell you? In the World Championships in Vancouver, the last World Championships, of course, he totaled 395. In the Olympic Games, he totaled 395. In the European Championships this year, he totaled 397.5. So, by half a kilo, he's still better than any time before. Had he got, though, the last two pressure lifts, the 183 with the snatch and the 222, that would have made a huge difference to his personal best. So 3 kilo increase for Bratin. Now, this is where it becomes a little bit more interesting, because this would take back one of the kilos that he's behind, because he was 2 kilos behind at the halfway stage. He got 190 to Klokoff's 192. Klokoff's just done 222. He's now going for 223. But in Klokoff is the lighter of the pair. But nonetheless, at this particular stage, it would reduce the margin between the two men to a single kilo. So, Moldavia versus Russia at the moment. Will, of course, put him into the lead in the clean and jerk. And that'll do for me.
Have to agree with you. Good lift. So 413, and as you say, just 1 kilo behind the Russian.
And it's all going to be, isn't it, on this last clean and jerk. And you've got the experience of the Moldavian, 4th in the Olympics, 3rd in Europe at senior levels. He's been in the world, far more experienced than Klokoff, who is the junior, the rising star for Russia. And so will experience count when it comes to the very last attempt. So now Naniev, 223. Now, I wasn't convinced by the 221, but he got away with it. So 223, this is going to put him exactly onto 410.
That's correct.
So not completely out of it, providing he makes this.
Stop.
No. And I think that's what we expected.
I remember we're on 223, and I must also remind you that Ramūnas Vyšniauskas of Lithuania hasn't even appeared. Now, if he is going to appear, it's got to be pretty soon, David, but he could come in here and steal the individual gold medal.
So, last card.
Now this would put him on to 408. Needs to stand still. Just about. But 408 is where he was in Europe this year. Finished just outside the overall medals. So 223. Actually goes into the lead in the clean and jerk because of his lighter body weight. They've placed him second again, but he weighed in at 104.08. Bratin on 104.96. So Bratin is actually in silver medal for the clean and jerk, and Lapikov at the moment in with a chance of a medal. And again, I have to say those body weights, they're just not clear, and they've made another mistake. Well, Lapikov, all he can do is just that. Sit there, watch and wait. But the Russians with two talented men now. Naniev, 224. Well, look at the problems he had on 223, David. 224. So this is for 411. And this is to get ahead in the clean and jerk, which he obviously would do. We could have a situation here where everybody could lift out. The championship could be decided, and Wisniewski then comes in to decide the clean and jerk, which would be most unusual, but it could happen. But no news from backstage as to whether he will or won't. Surely not, David. What do you think? This will have to be... No. It was never going to happen.
No. No, the 221 was down. I mean, he was lucky to get that, really.
Yeah, I think he was. So, he's left on... what's
408.
408, yeah.
He's heavier than the Russian.
Yeah, the Russian 104.66, so I suppose you could say Lapikov breathes a sigh of relief. So now,
coming in right where he said.
I'm now going to show you boys what might have happened
had I made a snatch.
Yeah. And I tell you what, if he walks away with this clean and jerk, is he going to be so mad at himself? What might have been, if only. 225, pick it up, lead in the clean and jerk. Weighed in at 102 kilos, the lightest in the class. This year's European bronze medalist. Clean and jerk 227.5. Brings it forward.
He does look a bit like the pub landlord, doesn't he? You're all beautiful people.
Well, he's a bit more like your pub landlord than
no, the comedian, the pub landlord.
I was going to say, it must be your pub landlord, not my pub landlord. My pub landlord's nothing like that. Mind you, if you had someone like him, he'd be in charge of making sure there wasn't too much binge drinking.
And you'd be out on time, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would. Well, he knows he's got a medal. Probably it's going to be the gold, but
well,
it's not over yet.
Not over yet.
No. And Tesovic. Is this 225?
Yeah.
So this would be 415.
Yes, you can't win.
Well, it puts him. Remember, it puts him a kilo ahead of Klokov, doesn't it? Because Klokov's on 414 with a lift to come. With
no,
two
it's
lifts
not 415.
Is it not 415?
No, he snatched 87. So.
Oh right.
It's 412. Puts him into second, providing he makes it, of course.
Oh, well, that's the best of the day.
Yes, and he's really lifted well today. It's the best we've seen him for a long time.
So 412. Got my columns mixed up here. So what do we got? We got Bratan, who's on 4:13. We've got Klokov, who's on 4:14. Tesovic, who's now gone into overall bronze with that, 4:12. Lapikov has lifted out. Wisnauskas can't affect the overall. But, of course, that 225 of Tesovic only puts him into second place in the clean and jerk because Wisnauskas is lighter. Wisnauskas is lighter than everybody. So the rest could all fail. He could end up with a gold medal without doing anything else. Now 227, 5 kilo increase. So surely, David, this is the move to try and put the whole thing to bed, to take him up to 419. Oh, hard. Feature in line. Gave that absolutely everything. And that 227, a new personal best. And it just shows you, David, that this man has obviously had problems, because we haven't seen him really, haven't seen him since really 2004 in the European Championships in Kiev. That was the last time when he totaled up 410. So the promise was there, but this is the deliverance. So 419 kilos. And here's Robert Deleja trying to get involved here in the clean and jerk. Now, he's at 104.46, Klokov 104.67, so this is to go into the lead in the clean and jerk. No, it's not.
We've seen him do that before. We've seen him just pull on the weight, so didn't believe, and his competition is over. So he ends up on 403.
So at this particular moment, the man who leads, Dmitry Klokov, on 419. We've got Alexander Bratin still with an effort to come on 413, but he is heavier. So that would mean that he had to take 7 kilos more, which means he's got to go for 230, Bratin. Now, I can't find Bratin ever lifting 230, 225, yes. Klokov's got one more. Wisnauskas, because Klokov has gone to 227 and got it, he must come out again to try and get the gold medal. Here he is. I can see what the guy. I mean, he's an absolute handful, isn't he? I mean, if he's in a particular mood, you just wouldn't be able to deal with him.
You have to work here. Nice to see him get a consolation prize, though.
Oh, no. He's got another attempt. Or is he going to call it a day?
Limping, so I think if I was him, I'd be inclined to call it a day.
Well, he's on 225, which still 225. He still leaves him in silver medal position at this moment. Bratin, that's the man. Now, 2:30, David, that's what I reckon. He's got to take 2:30 to get up there and get past Klokov in the overall.
Yes, 2:30 would give him the overall and the total, and it would leave Klokov having to equal him.
But he only got it. But
if he fouls with 2:30, then
so 2:30, then he goes a kilo ahead
on the total.
So he'd have to then Klokov would have to lift up 1 more kilo, wouldn't he? He'd have to do 2:31.
No, 2:30.
Oh yeah, he'd have to do the same lift. Absolutely, yeah.
Because he snatched 2 kilos more, remember? I mean, he would be able to do a bit less, but you can't come down. So.
No, so he's got to do this. He'd have to do the same weight. Well, interesting tactics. 2:29. Now let me.
Is he lighter?
Well, no, not according to me.
4.06.
06. I had him as 9.6.
Ah.
Oh, so he is lighter.
So he is lighter. So it all makes sense now.
I've had him all the way through as being.
Well, I wouldn't do. I mean, it must be.
The printing is so poor.
Yeah. So this to go into the lead by virtue of lighter body weight, but of course, if he fouls it, then gold goes to the Russian. If he succeeds, then the Russian's got to come out 1 more time.
So this for this for nothing. No 4:19 today, which means that Dmitry Klokov is the champion. He's got 1 more lift if he wants it, but quite frankly, he doesn't need it. And look how expensive that failure's been, David, because it means that, you know, Martin Tesevich is the man who ends up with the overall bronze medal. And
no, he doesn't. Yeah, because it was three behind to it. No.
Well, he ends up with the bronze because this man has got the silver, hasn't he? Bratin's got the overall silver.
Oh yes, yeah.
And Klokov, no, he's not going to take a lift. Doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it, does he?
No.
Why bother? He's on 4:19.
Chances are, David, that he was all out to get that 2:27. I think even another kilo, just the effort of the whole competition, odds against him actually lifting up another weight.
He's got all 3 gold medals, so
yeah,
it doesn't really matter.
So, very interesting competitor, from 4th in Europe back in April 2004 to 1st in the world, and ironically, the man who was just ahead of him in 2004, Alexander Bratin.
Oh, hang on a minute. We thought it was all over. This man has decided
he's going to take one more. He's
going to try and take 1 more to get the clean and jerk gold. Don't see it happening, but so
he's got to do it. He's got to do a 2:28.
He's got to do a 2:29 because the bar's on 2:29.
Oh yes, of course he has. Yeah.
So, a little consolation prize.
Well, judging by his celebration when he picked up 2:25, goodness knows what he's going to do if he gets 2:29. I think he's probably going to run up to the IOC president and kiss him. No, not to be. Maybe if he could get it onto his shoulders, but it's not on his shoulders, so now we really can say it's all over. And Dmitry Klokov absolutely is the owner of all the gold medals. So there it is. So that is the silver medal. Just working this out. Yeah, it is the silver medal in jerk he's got. So something of a consolation prize. And as I said, tomorrow it is the turn of the super heavyweights and Hossein Rezazadeh from Iran. And we can only hope, David, that he's really in good form and really up for producing something special in this centenary year. But Klokov confirmed. as the gold medal winner in the clean and jerk. Wisniewska's there, no snatches, so a clean and jerk silver medal as his consolation. Tesovic gets the bronze in the clean and jerk. He got the bronze in the snatch phase as well, and he is the overall bronze medalist. So not a bad day for Martin Tesovic of Slovakia. And Bratan, well, you would have thought that he was going to end up on the overall podium, and so he did. Well, you'll see it in a moment. In second place, but it's Russia, Moldavia, Slovakia, the gold, silver and bronze countries. So we're going to take a little break. When we come back, we'll wrap this all up and have a quick word about the super heavyweights tomorrow. Same time. Well, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back to wrap this up.